Source forwarded me a summary note. I can't show the exact document, but I can tell you the pattern. There was a quiet emergency-style discussion around three phrases: paper silver exposure, delivery stress, and Asian physical premiums. And whenever you hear those words together, understand this: the storm has already formed. Mainstream media will tell you something simple like, silver is up because inflation, or because rate cuts. But the real game is this: paper market leverage colliding with a physical supply squeeze. And what happens when those two forces crash into each other? And in the middle of that collision, you and I, small investors, are David, staring up at Goliath, big banks, bullion desks, and institutions. In today's video, I'm going to reveal three things. History is repeating. The echo of 1980 is coming back. A structural deficit has been building for years with numbers. What vacuum mode really means when the walls that used to stop a market from running suddenly disappear. 2. Q-Oct. 4. Historical context. Flashback story. Let's flash back. 1980. The era of the Hunt brothers. They bought silver, used leverage, and pushed the price to nearly $50. Then came margin calls, forced liquidation, and the collapse. That event became known as Silver Thursday. Now you might be thinking, oh, so why is today scarier? Because today it's not the Hunt brothers. The system itself is in the corner. In 1980, the villain was a group. In the 2026 era, the villain is the structure. The size of paper contracts is massive. Physical availability is limited. Industrial demand keeps rising, and above-ground stock is gradually being drained. And when the structure is weak, even a small spark can become a wildfire. Framework 7 Mars, the twist, hidden truth, plus evidence. Now here's the twist. According to data from the Silver Institute Talk Metals Focus, the silver market recorded its fourth consecutive deficit in 2024. The 2024 market deficit was 148.9 million ounces, MOZ. And that number isn't just a deficit, it's steam building inside a pressure cooker. The report also shows total supply in 2024 was roughly 1,015.1 MOZ, while total demand was around 164.1 MOZ, creating that gap. And the scariest part? Industrial demand, silver that gets consumed, hit a record high in 2024 at 680.5 MOZ, and photovoltaics, solar demand, solar alone, 197.6 MOZ. That means supply chains like Tesla, Apple, and Samsung need silver. And without silver, production stability breaks. And this demand doesn't depend on investor mood. It's an industrial necessity. Now imagine this. On one side, you have industrial consumption, irreversible. On the other side, you have paper market claims. And in the middle, you have shrinking accessible metal. That's how vacuum mode begins. Price starts moving up, and there are no natural sellers left to stop it. 7i, 10 odd. The crisis, banks plus shortage, plus geopolitics. Now we enter the crisis. You may not realize this, but when silver volatility explodes, it creates hidden stress on bank balance sheets. And why does JP Morgan's name keep showing up? Because historically, U.S. regulators have prosecuted major bank traders in precious metals manipulation cases. Reuters reported that JP Morgan reached a $920 million settlement and admitted wrongdoing. I'm not here to sell you a conspiracy. I'm simply saying this. When you have paper instruments and the underlying physical becomes tight, the rules of the market start changing fast. Now let's build the tension with three mini-stories. Mini-story number 1, industrial panic. Imagine an EV supply chain meeting. Raw materials stable, copper, lithium, check. But silver? It's in electronics, soldering, contacts, and in solar manufacturing, silver is a strategic input. The numbers make that obvious. Mini-story number 2, retail scarcity psychology. Whenever price breaks out, dealer inventory gets thin, fast. People think, I'll buy tomorrow, but tomorrow premiums are higher, delivery takes longer, and availability is lower. Mini-story number 3, geopolitical premiums. The Asia versus West pricing gap is scary because arbitrage only works when physical metal flows freely. When flows get distorted, the paper price loses its truth, and physical premiums start acting like the real price. 10 Hos 12 Kanjun, the solution, opportunity, fear, hope. So you're probably asking, what do I do? I'm not giving direct financial advice, but I can share a smart investor framework, because smart money always does one thing, manage risk. If you think like a smart investor, you consider three things. 1, understand paper versus physical risk. ETFs, futures, derivatives, they involve counterparty risk and settlement mechanics. Physical has storage and carry risk, but it can remove layers of counterparty exposure. Again, not a recommendation, just awareness. 2. Position sizing plus time window. You don't go all in because of FOMO. You do scenario planning. If silver dips, I'm prepared. If silver runs to $90 quickly, I'm not chasing blindly. Because vacuum mode moves fast, and reversals can be fast too. 3. Watch levels like a hawk. The core of today's story, after a $76 breakout, the next magnets become $75, $90, $100, $150, $200. Those aren't just numbers, they're psychological battlegrounds. And yes, the next 48 hours matter because during breakout phases, order flow decides whether the move becomes a trend or a trap. 12 TAS, 14 SAS. The warning, climax, worst case scenario. Final warning, if you think silver is a small market, that might be the most dangerous assumption you can make. Small market means less depth, and less depth means violent moves. Worst case scenario, price crosses, $90 media arrives late, public FOMO begins, premiums explode, paper market liquidity gets thin. And in that phase, 80% of people make two mistakes: panic buying at tops, panic selling at dips. And then later, they say the same sentence: I wish I understood earlier. History is repeating, but the characters have changed. In 1980, it was a squeeze story centered around one family. Today, it's a squeeze story tied to the global industrial system. And if you keep ignoring it, 6 months from now, when you see silver headlines at $150 or $200, you'll remember this. That guy kept saying vacuum mode, 14 or 15 call to action, resolution plus T's. So here's the clean takeaway from today. The silver market is in structural deficit mode, 2024 deficit, 148.9. MAS industrial demand is record high, 680.5 MAS, and PV demand 197.6 MAS. Breakout psychology. After $76, vacuum mode can move fast. $90, $100, $150, even $200 become psychological magnets. Next 48 hours, not for blind action, for maximum awareness. If this video gave you value, hit like and share it, because this information can be worth $10,000 to someone who's unprepared. And subscribe, because in the next video I'm going to discuss paper silver versus physical silver. Which system cracks first and who benefits? Stay alert, stay informed. The storm is building. आप चाहें तो मैं इसी translated script को 2 versions में और बना दूँ. More US native aggressive hook style, short sentences, punchy. More professional documentary style, calm, authoritative,